Hey everyone, welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show on the interweb. Welcome back to Wrestling with Umar. It is Umar Q here for Real Take Wrestling and the extended Real Take universe. Welcome everyone, guys. It is Saturday, September 14th, 2024. A lot to talk about. Big SmackDown show last night. WWE SmackDown returned to USA Network with a bang, as many would say. However, this wrestling commentator would probably not say that, as you can tell by the thumbnail of this podcast. Guys, everyone, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all know the deal. You want to make sure, guarantee your question, statement, or whatever else is read out, answered on the air. Leave a super chat. That's a great way, the best way to support the channel, help it grow, and make sure that we're able to cover wrestling wherever we go. So, a lot to get into. As I said, we're going to talk about WWE on USA Network. We are also going to get into the weeds of the latest on the AEW TV deal. Lot to get into. We got Taco Kid. Welcome, Taco Kids. And yo, what's up? Taco Kid, what's up with you? Hopefully you're doing well. Taco Kid, I know you had expressed interest in going to Wrestle Dream. If you're going to be there, you're not just going to get me, is all I'm going to say. A little surprise. I don't know if this person wants to announce it or not, but a little surprise. Someone else might be joining me on that trip up to Seattle for Wrestle Dream. Or Tacoma, whatever it is. Anyway, same thing, like 40 minutes away from each other, pretty much. But I will be going to Wrestle Dream, and it's also locked loaded. I am going to go to Arthur Ashe Stadium for AEW Grand Slam. That was not originally something I was planning to go to, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it's a good thing. Nigel McGuinness announced that he will be facing the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Because of that, and because I am a mark for mid-2000s Ring of Honor, they got me. So I will be attending that and seeing history for the final time. It seems like the final encounter between Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Then like a week or two after that, a week after that, actually going to Bad Blood, and then a week after that, going to Seattle. Jermaine, with all the cap. Love you, Jermaine, but Jermaine with all the cap, ain't nobody making bank. Ain't nobody making bank from this. I can promise you that. Well, I could be if y'all hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a super chat. That would totally help in the making of bank. Now, I know I look like Tony Montana, but I can promise you this: I am not swimming in gold and having tigers in my backyard like Tony is. But shout out to him. Shout out to Tony Montana. Say hello to my little friend, and his name is Taco Kid. Saying, I think I may know the surprise. I think you probably know the surprise, but I'm not gonna. I'll let them announce it or say that they're going whenever they want to. That's on them. But I feel like I'm well within reason to tease it at least. So we're going to move that all the way up here, guys. But SmackDown was last night, and it was, to say the least, an interesting show. I think we can all agree. Interesting. It was a equitably not equitably compromisable, because that is not a word. But it's a pretty diplomatic way to put it. Interesting. Because we did get the return of Roman Reigns. He came out to help Cody after Cody and Solo Sikoa had their steel cage match. A fine match, I will say. A fine match. It was a good TV match. A very good TV match, which is what it was. He came out to save Cody after the entire Bloodline 2.0 were coming out and beating him. And then we got Roman actually being subdued by Bloodline 2.0, which led to Cody helping him out a bit. So they were kind of teasing throughout the night, this will they, won't they kind of thing with Roman and Cody. They have a lot of history. And the general manager actually, I almost called him Magnus. um, uh, Nick Aldis, he actually said that, he plans to have Cody and Roman as a tag team, and Cody, and then they were going to have the match at Bad Blood, so it would be Cody and Roman versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Yeah. Okay. Taco Kid said he went to SmackDown and it was a return. Roman was great. I'm sure it was. And I thought, in a vacuum, this is fantastic. My only issue, and it really is it is less so this moment. I thought SmackDown last night was a good show. It was a good show. There were moments where it was frustrating for me as a fan who watches every week, who pays attention to the product, because I'm just they literally did almost the same thing they did at SummerSlam, except instead of Roman coming out during the match, he came out after the match. And it begs the question, why would you just redo the same thing? And it is part of this larger issue I have with Triple H. And as you can tell by the title of the thumbnail, it's a bit of a theme that I have when it comes to Triple H booking, and that is a lot of times we're getting the same old shit. And for me, what I want to see is, and what I have not seen from the Triple H era, is that evolution, pardon the pun, of a lot of these characters. Cody Rhodes has been, in a weird way, stuck in the Bloodline universe ever since winning the title, which in itself would not inherently be a bad thing, but the issue is there's no development of the Cody Rhodes character. Cody does not have his own story. Cody is stuck in Roman and Rock's world. And when you have that, it is hard and it might just be me, but it's hard for me, the way I view shows and wrestling, to separate that out and view Cody as this three-dimensionally evolved character from where he was a couple of months ago. He's not. Cody is the same guy he is as he came in, to be honest. And there hasn't been, I don't know. No one can explain to me, and if you can, please let me know in the chat, but no one has been able to explain to me how Cody is different now than he was a year ago or even 2 years ago. And in my view, right, the fact that Roman had to save Cody twice, I said this to Just Brian, who's one of the biggest Cody fans I know. Shout out to him. Makes Cody look like kind of a geek. And that's not what I want to see for Cody. That's not what I want to see from someone who I view as one of my favorite wrestlers. Someone who I view as helping change the industry. Look, you can say a lot of things about Cody Rhodes or whatever, but the truest thing he ever said was that in that last promo he cut on AEW Dynamite, which I think is one of his best promos ever, where he said that, and it's so weird because he somehow managed to tease a feud with Punk, even though he didn't know that Punk was going to come over to WWE at one point. But he said that, CM Punk talked a lot about changing the industry, and unlike him, I actually did it. It's true. And Cody will be the first to tell you, yeah, all that stuff that Punk was talking about in that pipe bomb, all that stuff Punk was talking about after the pipe bomb, it was Cody, it was Matt, it was Nick, and it was Kenny who helped lead that revolution when they were a part of Bullet Club. And that version of Cody is the guy that a lot of fans, lack of a better term, fell in love with. And we've gotten this and again, I think the motivating stuff for him when he first came into WWE was really good. I love that. I love the, he's going to fight for his dad's legacy stuff. And that was great. But we are 2 years on, 2.5 years on, really. And I am waiting for Cody to do something else than I'm the champion because my dad. And we'll see. Maybe this Roman stuff will get us there. I don't see how, to be honest. I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to that. But, we'll see. We got Taco Kid in the chat saying, I think Cody looks pretty stupid in kayfabe when he said he's done with the Bloodline. Then an hour later, puts his nose back in the Bloodline story. This is a great segue to the next part of the segment, which is Cody says no, right? Cody says no, I don't want to tag with Roman. I'm done with the Bloodline. I said I was done after tonight, and I'm done. And then Roman comes out at the end of the night. Nick Aldis hands him a contract for a tag team match. And Roman says, I don't need a tag team partner. I don't need anyone. I am the only tribal chief. Good promo, like good segment there. And then Bloodline 2.0 comes out. They attack Roman, and Cody comes in, makes the save. And for no reason at all, decides that, well, now I want to be Roman's tag team partner. So at Bad Blood, it's going to be Roman and Cody versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Okay. Again, fine, well and good. A lot of big names, some moments that I want to see. I want Jacob Fatu versus Roman. That stare down they had, that was my favorite part of any of the Bloodline stuff that happened last night. And I thought that, that part was that was it. That was heat. Right? I was like, okay, I want to see this match. And this is a match you can do. And it also kind of had me thinking, like, hey, man, we could just have, like, Solo be kicked out of the Bloodline, have Jacob do a little bit of a hostile takeover. Nah, that's not what they're going to do. But, yeah, so Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, I guess, is a match they're going to have at one point. Is what it is. I frankly think it's pretty boring. I do not view Solo, I guess, in the same way that many others do, in that I still think he's a great talent and he's got a lot of potential. However, he's not the guy. He's not the guy that they're portraying on TV. And the bigger issue is, even if he wasn't the guy and you're portraying him in this way, at no point has he felt like he's gotten, like, big to the extent where you need him to be. I don't think so. We got Ali Sanan. Welcome, Ali. Says, crazy to see Roman and Cody team. It's crazy, but it's also like, how did we get here? And I think, like, a bit of that is, like, WWE is more prone to this than I think a lot of other companies are. And that being, sometimes it's not about how you get there. Sometimes it's just about the camera angle. It's just about the camera shot. It's just about that image, right? That lasting image and that moment, quote unquote. And I think that's kind of what they've done. They're just like, it doesn't matter if any of this makes sense. The fact that we have Cody and Roman together, that's it. So, loving my shirt. Thank you. Like I said, I'm doing my best Tony Montana impersonation today. It's Taco Kid said, I think it's kind of crazy how Cody doesn't have a big storyline with his title going into a PLE in his hometown. That's the thing. Cody in his hometown, the first PLE as champion in his hometown, and they got my guy playing second fiddle to the Bloodline again. Triple H is not good at this long-term storytelling. Like, booking good wrestling 4 months out of the year does not make you a good booker. Like, and this happened last year too. The lead up to WrestleMania was really good, and then we got the post-Mania, the come down. Nothing fundamentally happened. Outside of a little bit of quicker evolution of the breakup of Damage Control, we didn't get much storytelling out of WWE at all. And it's unfortunate, because they're the company that's supposed to be better at storytelling, yet they're getting lapped in storytelling when you look at a product like AEW. And that's not me being an AEW mark. That's just me telling you what I see. I watch basically every single show that both these companies put on outside of Rampage, because ain't nobody watching Rampage every week. But other than that, I watch like every friggin' show, and I keep up with it a lot. So for me, I'm like watching this, and I'm like waiting. It's always waiting. And waiting can be good. Waiting can be good. It is not the issue of impatience. It is not anything like that. But there needs to be something to hook you other than, oh my God, the bloodline and Roman Reigns, OTC. Like, there's just catchphrases. It's easy. It's easy, I guess. But you can't rely on The Rock to save you every single year. Just saying. Triple H has never been able to book Cody. Last year, he just did random things like Brock feud, and this after he won the title. Booking has been bad. I agree. Jacob Fatu has more charisma than Solo. 100%. That they got Jacob Fatu out here like doing like the Umaga gimmick where he doesn't cut promos and he's like, and apparently he doesn't know how to talk or whatever. I'm like, what's going on here? Dude was killing it in MLW. He was the MLW champion, and he was cutting some of like the most compelling promos on the indies. Like, what are we doing? Come on, give him the mic, Triple H. Solo needs a better finishing move. We got that Samoan spike. What you mean? That's the RVD. Taco Kid, I'm sick of a town down under. A town down. I was like, a town down under. Ooh, we love our Australian homies. Come on now. I'm sick of A Town Down Under versus Randy and KO. The theory face term should have already happened. Again, another story dragged out. Grayson Waller is a guy who I still see an insane amount of potential in. I see this guy as a future heel world champion. And we're not getting any closer to that. Instead, we're like, A-Town down. And like they've been relegated to comedy heels. Like mid-card comedy heels. That is not what you want from these two right now. Especially after Austin Theory was already viewed as a joke after the failed Austin Theory push or whatever. This is not doing him any favors. This is not helping him. This is not changing the minds of the WWE universe at all. Like, come on, man. This ain't it. And it's okay to admit that it ain't it. It's okay. But this ain't it, man. And like, we could talk about Kevin Owens if you guys want to talk about Kevin Owens, because there's a big decision for Kevin Owens coming up pretty soon. Made a video about it at youtube.com/WrestleVibes. Like, don't be surprised if Kevin Owens ends up all elite next year. Do not be surprised at that at all. What does SmackDown need to maybe a redraft, because the roster looks bad outside of Bloodline, Cody? So I said this in a previous video. I think a video I did yesterday. By the way, go check it out. But I think the plan is over the next couple of months to have like your big stars, Roman, Cody. You know, there was a reason why Gunther was there yesterday. There was a reason why they had legends there. They are trying to get the most out of this SmackDown on USA partnership the first few months and establish it as much as possible, because by the time January comes around, all hands are going to be on deck for that move to Netflix. And right now, Raw is in a place where in like 2 weeks, it is going to go 2 hours live on Monday nights for the rest of the year. They are getting paid pennies on the dollar for the next couple of months of TV for Raw and USA. Like it's like $25 million for those 4 months for that quarter, or those 3 months, for that quarter. And for them, like, they're like, okay, well, we just need to produce content for Monday Night Raw. We don't really need to do much. But then when January 6, 2025, when that Netflix deal goes into place and we get the first Raw on Netflix, fully expect The Rock, fully expect, John Cena, he will be there. Fully expect Roman, Cody, all of these big faces, these big names to be a part of that show, because they care about that change to streaming a lot. And it's not just because it is an insane contract that WWE got. And again, it makes a lot more sense when you factor in that it's like, what, $10 billion for the entire global marketplace of WWE. But it is a massive deal. They're getting a lot of money from Netflix, but also it is uncharted waters when it comes to professional wrestling, because you got WWE for the first time ever switching over to streaming, or one of their main shows, arguably their flagship show, to streaming. And they've always been on either network television or cable. They know how to navigate those waters. We don't know what the streaming landscape is going to be for WWE. So you want to bolster that as much as possible. That's why you're going to see all of these different influential stars on WWE Raw when the new year kicks off. And there's going to be a lot of more, like, compared to, like, I think the next couple of months we're going to see and what we're going to see on January, it's going to be night and day. There's going to be so much of an emphasis put on Monday Night Raw. It's going to be crazy because they want to make sure that people sign up and they maintain their memberships for Netflix, and Raw is a big draw for Netflix. We'll have to see. Obviously, like, you know, the other big thing that is being talked about is the idea of, like, okay, well, they're going over to Netflix. How long is Raw going to be? We know for the next couple of months it's going to be a 2-hour show. They're going back to 2 hours for the first time in well over a decade. But what is it going to be? I could very well see a situation where when they go to Netflix, it's going to be like anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours for a show. I think they will go back to 3 hours regularly, but, you know, Raw could end at any point. Be 2.5 hours. It could be 3.5 hours. Just depends on the week. I totally think so. The road to WrestleMania is going to be insane on Raw. Oh, man. You get ready. The Rock is, I'm the fucking final boss. He is going to be going off. It's going to be crazy. Wayne says Cody should have saved Roman from a beatdown. I mean, he did. He did at the end. But, like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Perception isn't that he saved Roman. It's that Roman's now saved him twice. What does SmackDown need? We already talked about that. I mean, I think a redraft will eventually happen for both Raw and SmackDown. I think they're going to be a lot looser than they've even been now with the back and forth between the brands. I think you will see, like, champions be exclusive, but other people kind of moving back and forth. I could totally see that happening. Guys, let's take a break talking about WWE. Let me know in the chat what else you guys want to talk about as we move on to our next topic. Be sure to smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up, as they say. Thumbs up, you know. Give me that engagement. We love that. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. So the other thing that we need to talk about today, obviously, is the AEW media rights deal. Everyone's been losing their mind lately about AEW Shockwave, what that means, what it is. This report from Fightful that AEW and Fox at one point had discussions about AEW media. We know that AEW and Warner Media are close to closing in on a deal that would essentially land the pay-per-views on Max and extend Dynamite and Collision on television at the beginning of 2025. The deal will, in all likelihood, according to Tony Khan, who's hinted towards this, make AEW profitable, which is a massive deal for the company. And it will also make AEW a mainstay, and at least in the beginning of 2025, re-emphasize that AEW is a important entity for Warner Brothers Discovery. So, we have that. We also know that this past contract that AEW signed with Warner Media was an exclusive deal. Meaning, AEW, I think it was when Collision came into the fold, AEW could not run shows on other networks that were not WBD properties in the United States, of course. And that exclusivity was thought to be a part of this deal. Now, not so sure. Again, these are based off of reports from Fightful. Meltzer also spoke about this, and Andrew Zarian literally said the TV deal is done, and he expects this to be announced at some point. I think the announcement date is one of those things that people are. That's a big thing I think people are talking about. Man, why are they waiting to announce? Why are they waiting to announce? Oh my God, AEW is going out of business. All this stuff. The reality is, guys, you can announce something, you could have a deal done, and sometimes from a PR perspective, I'm going to speak as someone who works in PR. From a PR perspective, not only do you want to pick a moment that is, perfect to announce this, it doesn't always have to be immediate because it's all about momentum. It's all about picking your moment in when it comes to announcing these media deals or whatever. You want to do it at a time that allows you to not only control the media narrative a lot more, but also help give your product momentum when it needs it. And you need to find a way to keep that momentum up. So there's a lot of internal strategy that needs to go into this from a PR perspective, from a communications perspective, from a social media perspective. Also, the reality is that getting all of their ducks in a row, and for anyone, for a big announcement like this is not something that's going to happen overnight. Having social assets ready, having talking points ready, having the PR, the press release. 1 million people going to read that press release from both AEW and Warner Media by the time it is actually approved and ready to get sent out. It is a lot more goes into it, I think, than people realize. And if you're wondering, well, why is it still taking so long? Number one, you have to jump through all those hoops internally, the bureaucratic hoops. And number two, allegedly, it might be a done deal, but ink isn't dry yet on that contract. We don't even know if they've signed yet. There's a lot that still needs to be worked out. And again, I don't think AEW is in any particular rush to announce this at this point. That is my take. We will see what happens, but I suspect that if they're not announcing it, they have a reason why not. Especially when you have Tony Khan saying that there's a 90% probability that the deal will get announced in the next month. I could see WrestleDream probably being a moment where they do that, to be honest. Either that or maybe in New York at Grand Slam. But at that point, I'm announce it the week before Grand Slam and try to get ticket sales up at ticket sales for Grand Slam, we'll take a look at those in a second. Those are dog poop. Those are not good. Those tickets are not good. Jermaine says, am I the only one who thinks Shockwave is going to be a pay-per-view instead of a show? And I think Collision is going to Fox or FS1. Collision, I'm not going to say, okay. I'll address your first point first. Shockwave could very well be a pay-per-view. At this point, the Shockwave to Fox stuff is just more speculation than anything. But they have had talks with Fox. That much we know. We don't know whether it's going to be FS1 or whatever, but they have had talks with Fox. Collision is staying with, or is expected to stay with Warner Brothers Discovery. I think it's going to stay on TNT. Last thing on WWE, I did like how they went overtime last night. Hopefully that wasn't just a one-off. I did like that. I did not like, and Taco Kid, you were in the arena, so you didn't get to witness this. Every time the crowd was chanting holy shit or whatever, they were bleeping it out. Or they were doing the whole they were cutting the sound out the entire time. So there were 5 to 10 seconds of the show at a time that were just no audio. That's not good, man. I think someone at WWE, someone must have forgotten that they moved to cable because the crowd can chant holy ass on cable. They do it on Raw. They do it on Raw, and no one bleeds them. What's going on? It's Friday night, too. Anyway. But yeah, Shockwave could be a pay-per-view. It could very well be a pay-per-view. But in my view, I would expect something to get announced fairly soon. Man, oh man, oh man. What else we got going on, guys? Let me know in the comments. We can take a look at the latest WrestleTix updates for Grand Slam if we want to, but they're not looking good. Like I don't even think I don't even know if I'm gonna get my ticket until like later. Let's see. So I set this up. We got Taco Kid. We weren't chanting holy. I know you guys were chanting OTC and they thought it was holy shit. So they were just like, oh, bleep. They were just like, it's like, it literally, it sounded like on the air. It sounded like OTC. See, like what the hell are they doing? And yes, the blanking out of my audio was on purpose before you guys are like, oh, what happened to his audio? Oh, your audio's not working. No audio. Y'all be like screaming at me in the chat when that happens. Although I do appreciate it because otherwise I'd just be talking to myself. I've done that. I once did an entire podcast for 10 minutes without the audio on, and it was like one of the most embarrassing. It was a live stream. It was one of the most embarrassing things, and I just wasn't reading the chat, so no one could have told me. It was so bad. It was so I felt like did not feel smart that day. Let's see. I'm trying to find the latest Arthur Ashe update from WrestleTix, which is a great resource for this kind of stuff. In the meantime, guys, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We found it. We are here. As he would say. All right, let's try to pull this up. Okay, we got something here. Kinda. That's good enough. We'll just make me a little bit bigger. Nah, we got this. All right. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. So these are the Arthur Ashe updates, or this is, I should say, the update for Arthur Ashe Stadium. As you can see, that is the current setup of the map. And if we go up, oh my God, I already messed this up. Live TV, pal. It be like that. You want more content like this, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. So this is via WrestleTix. As you can see, these are the latest updates on Arthur Ashe. Right now, 4,400 tickets distributed. This is as of 2 days ago. Not good. Not good at all. There's no way to sugarcoat this. There's really no way to defend it when you think about it. 4,400 tickets sold for one of your biggest, arguably your biggest Dynamite of the year. That is insane. It is not only an indication of how cold the AEW, like the market, I should say, for AEW tickets are, and it's cold. Like the product, I think, is as good as it's ever been, but the market itself for AEW is cold. In New York, for you to be a week and a half out and 4,400 tickets are sold, or 2 weeks out if you want to take it by the day, that's a problem. There's a show last year, as you can see by the rewind that WrestleTix has provided, 11,263. The year before that, it was somewhere between 12 and 13,000. Their first year, over 20,000 tickets sold. It ain't great. And part of it, obviously, is the product being, or the ticket sales being kind of cold for Dynamite and TV in general. But it's also like, I have been to New York a few times, and like I go pretty frequently for work. One of the things I noticed is, and that's different from years past, is you don't see any marketing for AEW when they're in town. You don't see anything. For WWE, it's like the weeks leading up to it. SmackDown at MSG. They're hitting you in the face. They let you know. I know that back in 2021, when they originally ran Arthur Ashe Stadium for the first time, they had so much advertising throughout the city. They were putting up flyers. They were painting it was the marketing was insane. You couldn't ride a subway in Manhattan and not see AEW. You couldn't ride the subway to Queens and not see AEW. And you just don't have that no more. As Taco Kid in the chat says, yeah, the marketing is not great. And we're about, and the insane part is, you still have people like me who's like, I wasn't like, it is up the road for me. I could have gone to the show if I wanted to. I originally was not going to go, and then they announced Danielson McGuinness, and I was like, well, I'm going. But I think they rely too much on social media. They rely too much on last minute local media appearances to sell tickets. And here's the thing. They are insane when it comes to selling tickets the 2 days leading up to it. The difference is insane. You don't want to rely on that. Because imagine if you put in just a little bit more effort, you could have sold way more tickets than you have. I've talked about this at length, man. This is just the marketing. The marketer inside me is not happy about this. Here we go. Let's be honest. AEW blew the marketing budget last year. Plus, AEW visits the same markets. Merch, health are things that hold AEW back. I don't know what their marketing budget looks like. I mean, here's the thing. There is no excuse. There is no excuse once this TV deal kicks in, this new TV deal, their marketing budget better exponentially grow. You better exponentially grow that marketing budget because the returns will be there. The returns will be there. You are offering generally a newer, fresher product than WWE, even though it's not WWE, but you're offering a fresher product. You're offering it at a much significantly cheaper and more affordable rate than WWE. You just have to let people know that. If they know that, you're going to attract families who may not be able to afford WWE because those tickets are $300 a piece. That's insane. And then when they see how awesome the wrestling is, well, they're more likely to come back. Cater to the fans who do what AEW was supposed to be. Cater to fans as an alternative. Cater to fans who feel alienated from the current product, whether it be because it's very expensive or because it's not their deal. Let them know you're there. Let them know you're there. We got Peter in the chat. Sorry about that. Real Take Wrestling, keeping up the good work. Nice to find YouTube channel that doesn't mainly focus on WWE. First company since WCW, ECW to give WWE a run for its money because AEW, WWE got a lot better once AEW came into the fold. Also helped that Vince McMahon left. That was probably a bigger a maneuver there, or whatever, but a lot better for sure. And AEW is one of the big reasons why that happened. Frank G. Life says, nobody really cares about AEW anymore. The honeymoon period is over. That is true. The honeymoon period is over. I wouldn't say nobody cares about them because, look, the fact that they are selling thousands of tickets still on a weekly basis and have multiple shows across multiple hours, and Dynamite is still usually a top 3 show in the key demo. That is a really insane thing to think about when you look at where we were, over the past 20 or so years in the post WCW world. TNA never got anywhere close to the success that AEW had. If we're being honest, and I'm talking about from a money standpoint. TNA still ain't profitable, baby. I don't know what to tell you. It is I got into his argument. Not even an argument. It was dude was just dead wrong. It was oh man, TNA was making millions of dollars in 2007. Then Hogan came in. And I was that's not what happened. TNA was being viewed by 1.5 million people or something, or 1 million people almost every week, and then they weren't because Hogan, and then it fell apart. but there's no indication that they were profitable. There were millions pumped into that thing that did not end up working out. AEW is at a point where I saw a projection that says like 2026, 2027, they could be profitable. And like at the worst case, it would be, let's say, a 5-year deal for his TV contract, 2029. They're on track for it. They have a fan base that wants a product. Every pay-per-view they have, they get 10,000 people in there. They get over 100,000 people buying their pay-per-views, between 100 and 200,000. That means something. Anyway, guys, this has been a fun stream. I don't leave you because I want to, but I also have food that is waiting outside for me to pick up. Shout out to Uber Eats. I really have dug this stream. Guys, thank you so much for being engaged and all that kind of stuff. None of this is possible without y'all. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, your questions. As always, remember to smash that like button. I'm going to be doing a news video later on today. I also have my side channel, Wrestle Vibes, which offers just a lot of dope content, docu-style content. Going to be putting some stuff up there. Just did a video up there today about the failure, quote unquote, of Fox or SmackDown on Fox. Definitely going to get a lot of people talking in the comment section. Already has, but guys, go watch that. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe for daily news updates on all things pro wrestling, AEW, WWE, TNA, whenever I can. And until next time, be happy, be healthy. As always, keep it real.